Hi there, Cancer. How are you guys doing? I really hope that this video finds you well. Welcome to your weekly reading. Back with me again, Anisa from the Inner Stereo. Take a deep breath in for me. Okay, so we're going to be doing a pick a card reading by the end of the session. And don't forget to check your sun, moon, rising, or Venus sign. Me personally, I realize that with my readings and all general readings on YouTube, I resonate a lot more with my Venus sign rather than my any other signs. So you might want to check your Venus sign as well. And because it's a general reading, so the rules might get reversed, all right? So let's talk now, Cancer. You have the Knight of Swords, you have the Ten of Swords, and then you also have the Seven of Pentacles. So if you guys are only dealing with one person, I feel that you guys are kind of like quite a little bit torn between wanting to do something about it. And what I mean doing something about it, meaning that you kind of like wanted to lash out for the injustice and unfairness that you guys are kind of like feeling at this very moment, or you want to wait it out because you have the Seven of Pentacles here because you feel that you've already kind of like invested a lot of your time, a lot of your energy, a lot of your efforts into this relationship. Therefore, you're like, well, therefore you kind of like want to wait it out for a little bit. However, if you guys are dealing with two people, it means that there's one person in here that you're furious about, and you kind of like wanted to protest against it, or just kind of like want to attack them. And then there's like another person in which you're just going to wait it out here because you feel that it's kind of like your time to wait for your return of investment. What's challenging here is you have the Page of Wands in reverse. So one person in this relationship kind of like likes to hear from other people, if that makes sense. You see, this Page of Wands really likes to communicate with birds. Bird symbolizes communications. So there's one person in your relationship sector that's really like to, talk to other people and then like hear some praises and everything like that. And the other person is kind of like feeling a little bit uneasy about that. And then one person in this relationship too is like Two of Pentacles, is kind of like unsure about what to make out of this relationship. This could be a sign of one person juggling another person in a relationship as well. But for me, the Two of Pentacles is just more like trying to figure out what fits, what makes sense. Trying to figure out, what is it that they're going to be doing about it. So there is a period of indecisions in here. So you might be dealing with a Scorpio, or you might be dealing with an air sign. That will be Libras, Aquarius, and Gemini. So in the past, they were doing a little bit of a transformative period. They kind of like wanted to change because they feel that the relationship that they have with you, whatever happened in the past, it was such a stunted growth. And it took like it took a toll on them, really. They feel that, the relationship has the hottest beginning and yet the coldest ending. And they took it really, really badly. I mean, like the Ten of Wands is not a good feeling. I remember back in the days where I used to feel that way. It was not really, really good feeling because it's as if like you had a lot of problems in your shoulders, and then it's difficult for you to wake up in the morning and just feel like good, However, you in the past was quite positive about it. I feel that you find your self-value, and then you trying to gain your emotional stability back with that King of Wands in there. And they kind of like took it as a shock with the fact that, this is how they see it. This is how they see things. They see like, oh, wow, Cancer, you're doing all right, while I am the one that is dealing with like a lot of stressed moments. This is what they think. So Hermit, now they are going into a isolating period. So you might be dealing with a Virgo and also water sign too, or a fellow Cancer like you guys are. So they're going into a hermit mode, and they're having like a lot of conflict with themselves at this very moment with the Five of Wands. And if you poke them in here, because they have this huge needs to be by themselves at this very moment, if you poke them or if you confront them, or even if you were to say hi to them, they kind of like might get like a little bit snappy here. Six of Wands. And then because they are in a period where they kind of like want to isolate themselves, you guys got hurt. They're not doing anything bad at this very moment though, Cancer, but we see the pick a card reading, yeah? All they want to do is just like have a space for themselves. They want to think. So you might want to send out a message. You might want to send out something to them. I said don't do this. Don't do this. Because why? I don't think it's like a good moment. I think you should wait it out for just like a couple more days, maybe like 3 to 5 days from now. Then you can do something about it. But like now, don't. Like even if you guys are still in contact and you feel that your partner is kind of like quite detaching themselves, or they're trying to isolate themselves, it's just because they need some space, they need some me time. Leave them be at this very moment. Because I think in the future, we'll see the next card, but I think in the future, they just have to deal with a lot of themselves. And in the future, they're going to come back to you. They're going to kind of like give you something. They're going to have like a clearer mind in the future. Then you have the Knight of Pentacles in there. So you might be dealing with an earth sign too, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. However, the Knight of Pentacles is like a Mars and Virgo card. So it symbolizes the act of services, or the energy of like unwavering devotions and loyalty that they have towards you. Kind of like want to clarify something with this King of Swords means. They know full well that when they are in a much better mood and much better energy, when they are going to communicate with you in the future, they know fully well that you at first are going to be extremely skeptical about them, because you have the King of Swords in here. So you might kind of like question like what happened, why were you detaching yourself, why were you disengaging yourselves, and everything like that, and everything like that. And I feel that you're going to get the clarity that you're looking for, and I feel that you're going to feel all right about it. But we'll see the pick a card reading, yeah? Because again, it's a general reading, so it's not a one size fit all. But for the majority of you, though, I think that it's going to kind of like create like a lot of clarity. Because if you think that this person is doing like a lot of bad things at this very moment, for the majority of you, that's not the case. Sometimes people just needs to be alone. Because in the past, they were hurt because they were think, wow, this is such a shame. It's such a stunted growth, the relationship that we have. They took it heavily. They took it like a lot heavier than you guys do. In the future, you're going to get the clarity that you're looking for, and then you are going to conclude things on your own. Your partner is going to be okay with providing you with any type of information or answers that you're going to be questioning them about. And I feel that with that type of information and message, you guys are going to be like the Three of Pentacles. So you kind of like are going to think that, oh wow, like now that I know the truth, of the situations, I think I'm going to take a leadership positions, and then I'm going to be talking with my partner and then asking them, what to do about it. So you're going to take the leadership roles. You're going to kind of like lead this relationship to wherever both of you wants to go to. So it's a good one. You're going to have like your clarity. You're going to have like your truth and confirmations in the future. All right. So I think that is it for my one-person scenarios. I'm going to put a timestamp right over here to when the pick a card reading starts. And now we're moving on to the two people scenarios, meaning that if you guys are only doing one person, you can, just like fast forward to the pick a card reading. Okay, so person B is somebody who I think you either ghosted or you kind of like disappeared on or something like that, because they see your relationship as a stunted growth. They kind of like stop before it even begins. It has the hottest beginning and yet the cold ascendant, and they feel that you kind of like took off to the horizon, leaving, taking everything, all your values and all of your everything with you. And they were very, very saddened about it. They might do some self-destructive behavior, trying to cope with the fact that you were moving outside of the relationship. They were really hurt there. In the now, you will have the impulse, the tendency of wanting to kind of like communicate with them. You have the three wands, and this three wands in this particular deck of mine is actually a messenger, right? So you might kind of like wanted to either send a message or just kind of like send like a hint, a cryptic social media post or whatever that is. But how they're going to respond to it is that with the Five of Wands. You gotta understand that I understand probably you were hurt and you had a reason for you to kind of like leave this relationship away. But from this person's perspective, they're like, you cannot just do that to me. You cannot just kind of like take off and let me deal with, you know, the hurt, and then you can just kind of like walk into my life and just like send me message, whether implicitly or explicitly. So they're going to be very, very conflicted in what to do with you. And also at the same time, there might be kind of like a lot of confrontations and conflicts coming out from them because they're just kind of like frustrated. And then, but then in the future, they're going to have their mind a lot clearer. And then you guys are going to get your clarity out of this person. And you're like the Three of Pentacles. So you might help them out though. Because I feel that the connection that you've had with this person is kind of still there. Because it's not, I mean, probably in the past you hated them. But you still care. You know what I mean? And if they wanted help from you, if they wanted like support or opinions or whatever, you'd be gladly to help them here. So that's you with person B. Person A is somebody who you had shown emotional availability towards. However, this person was going through something more. I mean, I think this person just probably walked out of the relationship, or they've been hurt before, because the energy that they're emitting towards me was like the Death card. So they kind of like wanted to change a part of themselves. And when I clarified that, they had the Nine of Wands. So I feel that this person in the past relationship that they've had, they were taken advantages of, and they kind of like swore into themselves that they're not going to do that. They're not going to jump into relationships or just jump into emotions right away. They have like a lot of trust issues and skepticism in here. So in a now, they are in a period where they want to isolate themselves like a lot. And then I feel that because you probably hear like a radio silent from them, or you feel that this person is a bit cold and detached from you, you're going to get like a little bit hurt. However, in the future though, I mean, this person is like the Knight of Pentacles. So in their best side, they're like people that you could trust because they have like an unwavering devotions and loyalty. There's this sense of camaraderie in them too. Like even if you kill somebody, I'm going to be there and bury the body together with you type of. It's kind of like what the Knight of Pentacles also always feel for me. Or like if you got a flat tire and they live near you, they're going to help you somewhat. Yeah, but then in the future, they're still kind of like a little bit confused. I mean, this is a confused individuals because of the fact that they've been hurt before and they've been burned before. So if you want to make your relationship work with person A, I think you're going to give it time, you know. I mean, we'll see the pick a card reading, yeah, but I can actually tell you that this person actually needs about 5 to 7 months of healing process before they could trust, you know, to be emotionally vulnerable again. If you have that much of a patience, then good for you. We'll see the pick card reading. All right, so now we'll move on to the pick card reading. All right, so I have 4 piles of card with me now. This is pile number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Not sure if this is even focusing. Oh, it is. All right, so I'm gonna, you know, give you a total silence for like 20 seconds so that you guys could concentrate. And please try to only pick one card, a pile of cards, so that you guys don't end up getting confused. All right. Right. So now let's move on to pile number 1. So you have the 3 of Cups, you have the Wheel of Fortune, you have the 5 of Swords, and then you have the Devil card. So very interesting. So if you guys are dealing with a Sagittarius or a Pisces and a Capricorn, an Aries, they've been kind of like moody and you cannot really read them really, really well because they're kind of like hot and cold. Sometimes they're focusing on this, sometimes they're focusing on that and everything like that. It seems as if like you guys are living in their own wheel of priorities, where at first their priorities is at work and maybe like home or travel or books or whatever like this. They kind of like have like a lot of different priorities in their life. I'm sorry guys, but if you guys are dealing with those signs that I mentioned earlier, you might kind of like catch them. And this is universe or God kind of like helping you to see the truth as what it is. So you might catch them, or you might see them, or whether in real life or maybe on social media as like a digital footprint or whatever, that either they're flirting or they're hanging out with somebody that you don't like. So it's kind of like a third party situations. And because of that happen, I feel that you guys are going to completely cut them off. They might try to kind of like lure you back into, because they know full well that they're the one who brings you comfort and they also the one that gives you pleasure. Not nice. However, if you're not dealing with the signs that I mentioned earlier, you guys are going to be in the mood to kind of like relive the friendship aspect of the relationship. You, regardless of how you might feel about them in the now, I think you deep down inside, you guys are kind of like still cares. And you had a relationship not only with them, but probably with their friends and families as well. And there's going to be a circumstances that helps you with this, yeah? There's maybe a problem at your home, a problem at your job, an opportunities in your studies or traveling, or you kind of like left your belongings still in their house or whatever that is. So that opportunity is going to present itself towards you and you're going to take that. You're going to try to rebuild the friendship aspect. But you need to understand that whoever it is that you're dealing with, aside from the signs that I mentioned earlier, it could be a rising sign too. It doesn't necessarily mean to have a sun sign. So but if you're not dealing with Sagittarius, Pisces, Capricorn, and Aries, this one is for you, right? You need to understand that the one that you're dealing with is still processing the hurt. They haven't quite healed as of yet. And when people are still hurting, their ego kind of like cloud their judgment. So when you try to relight the friendship aspect of the relationship by taking that opportunities, they might do some petty things. It could be that they probably are not going to text you back, or maybe they're going to text you with just like a very, very short words, or seems very, very disinterested or disengaged or whatever that is. And why is that so? Is because they're trying to even the score. They're being like a little bit petty right now. But what I can see here is that once you do that, and once they satisfy their hunger for revenge or being petty or whatever that is, they're going to come to terms with their emotions. And then in the future, they're then going to give you all the truth and all the clarity that you're looking for. So if you're not dealing with the four signs I mentioned earlier, it's actually a good ending for you guys, all right? Even though in the beginning you might get hurt because they're being petty, but like it leads to, opportunities of them being open with you. So that is it if you guys chose pile number 1. Now let's move on to pile number 2. So you have the, 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, the Empress, and also Libra. So if you guys are, so you might be dealing with somebody with a Venusian type of dominance. It could be a Taurus or a Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising. Doesn't really matter. But here's the thing, you need to understand that both of you stands on a different expectations. You are the type of person who really wants to have a 10 of Cups together, meaning that you really want to have a collective happiness where you have like a totally emotionally understanding partner who could be your emotional support, who gives you like a lot of words of affirmations, who is very, very good physically, who basically cares, right? I'm a Cancer moon. I'm actually a dominant in Cancer, even though I'm a Sagittarius. And I do have like a lot of Cancer friends, and what I do love about you guys is that every time you're always present. You know what I mean? You're always present for the ones that you loved. But it's difficult when you're like that and your partner is not like that. And what I mean by present is that it's very, very rare for me to go out with my Cancer friends and everything like that, and then to see when I'm talking to them, pouring all of my emotions, and they'll be like with their phones. It's very rare to do that because they're always present every time they're with the ones that they love. You're expecting that type of things with your partner. The thing is that you and your partner have a different love language, and of course have a different expectations. They care more about the pentacle stuff. They care more about the daily routines, the mundane things, who's paying the bill, who's paying the electricity, the food, the car, the house, the security, financial securities, and the work and everything, all the mundane stuff. They don't really care about that emotions thing. It's not that they're unemotional, it's just that it's a different priority and a different, ways of life. Yeah. So in here, you kind of like need to make a decisions, like which one do you want to lose and which one do you want to gain? I mean, if you're looking for a partner that cares a lot about those mundane things, this one is for you. But if you care a lot about a partner who is emotionally there and all the things that you want, this person is not really for you. So you really need to get into your head and just like be asking to yourself, like, what is it that I want to be? Who is it that I want to be with? What type of person do I want to be with 5 years and 10 years from now? Can I compromise with this? Or can I not compromise with this? Which one is a priority for me? Is it the mundane part or is it the emotional part? Like you really need to sit down and just like talk to yourself about it, all right? So that is it for those of you who chose pile number 2. Now let's move on to those of you who chose pile number 3. Out of the 4 of Cups, you have the 8 of Wands, you have the 6 of Cups, you have the Knight of Pentacles, and you also have the 10 of Wands. Dude, you've been played heavily. You know what? A lot of people would look at this and would say that this is a twin flame connection. Nah. It's a narcissist and codependent type of relationship. Why? Because it is the trademark of a narcissist person to woo you, sway you, love bomb you, put you in an emotional whirlwind that makes you feel so good, and then once they know that they had you under their control, they pull back. They know full well that you're addicted to that whirlwind, and then you deep down inside, you kind of like wishing to like, wow, I wish I kind of like want to repeat that honeymoon experience again, but it's not happening, and I don't think it's going to happen. This person is void of emotions. See the 4 of Cups? I think something really messed up happened to them back in the past. They kind of like them completely shut off their emotions. You have a lot of unwavering devotions and loyalty towards them. You're willing to do a lot. You're willing to sacrifice everything for them. But just so you know, the base of you doing all of these things is because you're only wishing for things to get back to how it was when it was good. And I'm sorry to tell you, but I don't feel that it's happening. They made you feel like this for a reason. I'm sorry for being too, in your face and all that, but back in the days when I was dealing with narcissists, I wish somebody would have told me that. Instead of wooing me with the idea of twin flame and blah, 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 blah. This is not a twin flame. This is somebody who is void of emotions, completely, with purpose, trying to put you into an emotional whirlwind, making you confused and then pull back right away. What happens when you guys deal with a tornado, right? Like, let's say, for instance, like we're having a tornado right over here. You will have my cards all over the place. It feels misplaced. It feels confused. But this tornado is sweet. It's good. It's full of love. It's like drowning with the very, very luxurious gold honey. You're drowning, but it feels good. You know what I mean? You need to get out of this period, Cancer. It's not healthy. You can't change people. You know, I'm a Cancer dominant. I'm a Cancer rising, Moon in Cancer, and Jupiter in Cancer. I understand that completely. Like, maybe with my love, they will change and da-da-da-da. But that's, you know, that's us falling in love with our hopes and dreams and expectations and the future, and not really the reality. And in life, we have to be very, very present all the time. All right? Now let's move on to those of you who chose pile number 4. So this is your pile. The first card you got was the 7 of Wands, the Emperor card, King of Wands, and also the Page of Swords. So you might be dealing with Aries, a fire sign, or an air sign. So that will be Aries, Sagittarius, Leo, or Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. But you know, what I see in here is that you are dealing with somebody who is very, very, I don't know, like, it's like a relationship that reminds me of such tyranny, you know what I mean? Because you're dealing with somebody who kind of like really wants to rule. So from your perspective, you're probably going to see this person as being either bossy, selfish, always want to have it their way, you know, always tell you what to do. And you keep on bending your spine backwards for this person. I mean, you keep on moving backwards in here, but how far can you go? How far back can you go before you fall down the cliff, Cancer? That's the answer, right? That's the question, right? And you've been bending your spine backwards for this person for quite a while, but like in compromising and all those stuff. But like, how long can you go about this? Like, how much is enough for you guys? The advice here is to start standing up for yourself, because you guys are being depicted by the Page of Swords. And Page of Swords is a highly intellectual individuals who know and who will stand up for what they believe in, and who would always stand up against tyranny. The type of relationship pattern or dynamic that you guys are dealing with in and now. Like, even your guys are angry. See? Even if you were to tell your stories towards probably like your best friends or your families or what have you, they're also angry. They're waiting for you guys to stand up for yourself. And I really do think you need to start doing that. Because otherwise you are, I mean, you don't have a lot more space to move back to again until you fall down the cliff. So be careful about that, all right? Start setting up for yourself. Okay, so I think that is it for my reading for you, Cancer. I hope that you find tons and tons of clarity you've been looking for, and I really do hope that you guys have a great, great week ahead. All right, bye-bye, guys. Have a great day. I love you.